Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Ozzie here from Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day and I'd like to give you some great reasons to get down to your local comic shop and pick up something fun to read. And this week's got lots of stuff that's fun to read. Got a big old stack from the Marvel guys today. Let's start with this one. That's Black Cat #1. No, my store isn't named after Felicia Hardy. It's actually named after my first cat, Agnes, but obviously, we're huge fans of Black Cat around here. Have been a fan of her from, well, probably all the way back to her first appearance. Was a big fan of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man back in the day. Anyway, here she is in her first ongoing title, which is really cool. As always with Marvel, there's lots and lots of covers. This one is the ever-amazing J. Scott Campbell. This one is the super popular Art Germ cover. And this is from Scotty Young, the guy who was taking over comics before Art Germ showed up. Anyway, we love this book. Make sure this one finds its way into your box this week because Black Cat's always awesome. Then, of course, War of the Realms, #5. One of the biggest books Marvel has. This is the big event going on right now. Again, like all Marvel things, there's lots of covers. This is the cool A cover, and there's lots of other War of the Realms books to talk about, like War of the Realms Journey into Mystery. I keep saying you guys don't have to follow each and every one of these offshoot minis that they do, but if you're loving the main title or if one of these offshoots has a character that you're into, go ahead and check out the book because they're really popular. Everybody seems to be digging it, so chances are if you give it a shot, you'll probably like it. Other War of the Realms stuff includes Tony Stark Iron Man. This book's been super awesome as well. Good to see Tony back in his own title like he should be. Grab the first trade or the 2 Black Cat packs that make up the first 2 arcs and then jump into the War of Realms stuff if you've been holding out on that one. Captain Marvel, another one of Marvel's biggest books. Another War of the Realms tie-in. I love me some Enchantress. Good stuff there. Uncanny X-Men #19. This book just exploded way back in issue #1, then exploded again at #10, #11. This book's red hot, selling out each and every issue, as Uncanny X-Men should. Great to see Uncanny back at the top of everybody's stack. One of the all-time great titles. And Age of X Prisoner X is your other X book for the week. Along with Domino Hotshots. Everybody loves Domino because 90s comics and 90s characters are totally raging right now. Good stuff. Savage Avengers #2. I'm really digging this book. Savage Avengers #1 was really awesome. Great stories, great art. Conan, Wolverine, Punisher. Can read more about this one in our newsletter. Kind of dark, kind of heavy, but again, great stories, great art. Grab the reprint to #1 this week. If you missed the first print, pick up this week's #2. Good stuff. Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen. It's one of your spider books for the week. This one doesn't need much help from me. Everybody loves Spider-Gwen. Marvel Team Up, the return of one of my all-time favorite titles. Back in the day, Spidey would team up every month with a new Marvel character, and that was always tons of fun. These ones are a little longer arcs. He's been teaming up with Miss Marvel for the first arc. Good stuff. It's your other spider book for the week. We've got #1 and 2 still in stock if you happen to let them get by you. Incredible Hulk, Last Call. Okay, let's talk about this. Talk about the 90s raging back. This one is from Peter David and Dale Keown. Arguably 2 of the greatest Hulk creators. Certainly one of the greatest teams to ever take on the Hulk. Their run is legendary. I'm sure you know about it. This is their return. We don't see a lot of Dale Keown in comics anymore, so I'm super jazzed about this. If you're an old school Hulk fan, if you're a Pitt fan, just any kind of fan, you're going to want to pick this up because Peter David is one of the all-time great writers of comics. Dale Keown is one of the all-time great artists. And when they team up, especially with the Hulk, it's always legendary. So make sure that one finds its way into your stack this week. Dead Man Logan and Old Man Quill are your old guy books for the week because guys like me need heroes to relate to. Guardians of the Galaxy Annual is your other Quill book for the week. Going to be a lot of talk about Guardians of the Galaxy coming up real soon. If you haven't seen the solicitations or the ads for Guardians #7, well, let's just say if you're a Guardians fan and you've been letting this series get away from you, pick up 1 through 6 in this week's Annual and get ready for the next issue. Cosmic Ghost Rider destroys the history of the Marvel Universe. Another wacky and exciting book from the new Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's been fun. And Star Wars Age of Rebellion, Luke Skywalker. Can't say enough about the great job Marvel has been doing with all of their Star Wars stuff. I love the Age of Republic. I'm loving Age of Rebellion. Basically, they're one-shot, self-contained stories. Takes place back in the classic trilogy. Some of your favorite characters. Everybody loves Luke Skywalker. Everybody loves Mark Hamill. Check out all the cool stuff that Marvel's doing. Check out the different Age of Rebellion one-shots. Check out the main title, Dr. Aphra, Vader Dark Visions. If you're any kind of Star Wars fan, if there's a book you're not picking up, you're kind of missing out on something. Quick tangent. Speaking of classic Star Wars, little Star Wars black action figures this week. Cool original scale, vintage style. Some Echo Base, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, all the classics. Great stuff. Good week for the Marvel guys. Pretty small week for the DC guys, but lots of great stuff. After last week's DC, what could be left? Well, how about Batman number 72? One of the biggest, best books in comics. You know we love Tom King around here. You know we've really been digging this series. A little sorry that they're cutting it short, but happy that they're giving him his own book to finish the run because it's been awesome. Batman TMNT 3 number 2. This is, of course, the third series of Batman teaming up with the Turtles. It's always fun to see Batman teaming up with anybody. It's always fun to see the Turtles teaming up with anybody. The first two runs were really awesome. This one's no exception. Grab the trade paperbacks for the first two runs or just dive into the current one. Like I say, always fun with these kind of mashups. Deceased number 2. The next big DC event, a little bit out of continuity, a little bit of its own thing, just kind of for fun, but it's really, really cool. If you read number 1, it was dark, it was heavy, but it was fun. Number 2 picks up right where number 1 left off. You're going to want to check out those horror movie covers, because those are a lot of fun. Great time to be a DC fan, like this one, Green Lantern number 8. A little bit like that Hulk book, this one harkens back to some of the all-time great Green Arrow stuff from back in the day. If you're 100 years old like me, you love any time you see Green Arrow and Green Lantern teaming up on a book. Aside from that, this is one of the best titles in comics right now. Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp are two creators that you want to get any book that they do. And Green Lantern, well, Hal Jordan, the original. I'm just really, really digging this book right now. So grab the Black Cat pack of 1 through 6, pick up number 7, or just jump into this week's number 8. Amazing stories, amazing art, good stuff. Justice League number 25, another one of my favorite books, another one of the best books in comics, another one of the best books DC does. This is your double-sized anniversary issue, sort of wraps up the previous arc, kicks off the next arc. A lot going on in Justice League. If you haven't been following Justice League, you really are missing out. There's a ton of characters, there's a lot going on in this book, but it's really what Justice League should be. All the biggest heroes, all the biggest villains. Great, great stuff. Speaking of which, Deathstroke starts the RIP arc. Speaking of Justice League, this one features the Legion of Doom, sort of co-starring in Justice League these days. If you haven't been following along with Teen Titans or Deathstroke, if you don't know what's been going on with this, you might want to pick up the last couple issues of this one or just jump into the current. This book is going to be red hot this week. Speaking of red hot, Shazam! Another one of my favorite titles, a little bit like the new Green Lantern arc. It's great to see such a classic character back in a new monthly. Great to see him getting so much attention after the movie. This book's great stories, great art. Everybody loves Shazam. If you love the movie, pick up the reprint to number 1 to get the vibe of the book, or just commit and grab all the issues because it's tons and tons of fun. Speaking of fun, Harley Quinn, one of everybody's favorite DC characters. Always a good time. That and Female Furies sort of rounds out the DC proper stuff for the week, but always more DC to talk about, like Young Justice. This is your Wonder comic book of the week because Brian Michael Bendis does so much more than just the super books and the Jinx World stuff. The guy doesn't sleep. Great fun. And The Dreaming is your Vertigo book of the week. It's your Sandman Universe book of the week. A lot going on with this stuff. Always encouraging you guys to go to the Vertigo site. Check out the stuff that they've got going on if you're looking for something different, a little something non-superhero. Speaking of which, it's a great week for all the independent guys too. Beasts of Burden from Evan Dorkin is your Dark Horse book of the week. Love me some Evan Dorkin. Love me, I hesitate to call it anthropomorphic. It's really more just about intelligent animals, which is awesome. Love me almost anything from Dark Horse, like Vertigo. If you're looking for something new, something different, go to darkhorse.com. Check out whatever they've got rolling out this week. Everybody should have a Dark Horse book on their list. The Walking Dead is probably your favorite Image book. Whenever I get the opportunity, I like to encourage you trade paperback folks to jump into the periodicals. Volume 31 of the trades pretty much catches you up to the recent issues. So get caught up on those trades, catch up to the recent issues because, well, periodicals are just always more suspenseful, and suspense is what Walking Dead is all about. Criminal from my man Ed Brubaker might be another one of your favorite Image books. This one's been running for quite a while. If you don't know much about Ed Brubaker or the amazing job he does with crime noir, pick up the Volume 1 to Criminal and treat yourself to some really, really great comics. Paper Girls might be another one of your favorite Image books. A little like Vertigo, a little like Dark Horse. Always encouraging you folks to go to the Image site, check out whatever they've got new this week. You know, they do $1 reprints of all their first issues. They do discount pricing on all of their first trade paperbacks. They do everything they can to get you to try to check out their titles. So it's a lot of fun. If you're reading this one or Monstrous or any of the other things that they're doing, well, you're probably really digging it. Stray Bullets is my favorite Image book. Well, one of them anyway. Been loving David Lapham and Stray Bullets for a long, long time. This book is dark. This book is messed up. This book is not for the faint of heart. This book is not for the squeamish. So if you're the squeamish, well, maybe you want to try something else. But Witchblade, much like Spawn 297 last week, I just wanted to throw it out there that Witchblade is still rolling. One of the original Image comics, still has a huge and solid fan base. Everybody digs Witchblade, just like everybody digs Spawn and Savage Dragon. Image is much more than the amazing red-hot titles that they have these days. They also still kick out a lot of the original stuff that made them great in the first place. So if you loved the classics, Spawn, Savage Dragon, Witchblade, get on back to them because they're still great. Let me talk about some Dynamite real quick. Red Sonja, Vampirella, Roses for the Dead, Shape of Elvira, one of the 2 Elvira titles, Betty Page Unbound, the 3rd active Betty Page title, believe it or not, and $6 Million Man. All some really, really awesome Dynamite books. Always talking about the great job they do with their licensed stuff. Always talking about the wide range of characters and genres that they do. Just a huge fan of Dynamite. If you're a fan of any of these characters, check out their title. If you don't know about these characters, check out their title because they're lots of fun. Dynamite does a great job of taking these classic characters and keeping them rooted in what made them great, but also giving them new, fresh stories and angles and whatever. Like I say, like a lot of these other publishers, go to Dynamite Comics, check out what's new this week, and get a Dynamite book on your list. Fallen World, number 2, is your Valiant event book for the week. Again, always encouraging you guys to put a Valiant book on your list. They do a great job of genre fusion with superheroes, sci-fi, crime fiction. Great stuff. And of course, there's always talk about Rye and Bloodshot. All that original Valiant stuff is getting really hot because, like I've been saying, the 90s are back. Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica. Another one of my favorite things to talk about is Archie Comics these days. Their horror line has just been so much fun since the launch of Afterlife with Archie, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Vampironica, Jughead the Hunger. Lots and lots of this stuff going on. Of course, they do all the all-ages stuff that they've always done. They have a whole new line of PG-13 stuff with Archie and Betty and Veronica. Everybody should have an Archie book on their list. Pick up Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica number 1. You'll get some idea of what I'm talking about. Pick up the trade paperback for Afterlife with Archie. That book will change your life. Great, great stuff. Beneath the Dark Crystal, because Jim Henson is super awesome, and like this one and Labyrinth and some of the other things he does, it's great to see his genius still out there in the public and still getting new stories and new characters and fresh material because, well, if you don't love Jim Henson, there's just something wrong. And Lady Mechanica makes her return to comics from Joe Benitez. I love Lady Mechanica, and you probably do too. She doesn't get enough press, which is why I'm putting it out here. Everybody should be checking out this book. Really, really great art in this story. A little bit, again, genre fusion, a little bit of everything inside Lady Mechanica. So again, if you're looking for something new, something different, pick that one up this week because it's awesome. And a great week for the all ages guys too. Frozen, Don't Make Me Sing the Song, and Tangled. A couple of great Disney books. Always great to see the Disney stuff in comics. And Marvel Action Avengers, with one of my all-time favorite Avengers villains right there on the cover. I'm not going to tell you who that is. You probably know who it is. If you don't, you want to. Pick up this one or Star Wars Adventures number 22. Marvel has licensed out a lot of their all-ages stuff to IDW, and they've done an amazing job of it. I love this Marvel action stuff. I love Star Wars Adventures. If you're looking for something light, something a little easier, if you got a young person in your life, IDW's Marvel line has lots and lots of great stuff. And last but not least is Laurel and Hardy. Yes, Laurel and Hardy. If you're 100 years old like me, Laurel and Hardy is even 100 years older than you. But it's still really fun to see this back in comics. This is a reprint from an old school comic from the 60s. It's just as funny as it was back then. American Mythology does a great job with their all-ages stuff, reprinting stuff like this and Casper and Underdog and all kinds of things. So if you love the classic old school comics, pick up some Laurel and Hardy this week. Lots and lots of great stuff this week. Huge range of stuff. Great week to branch out, try something new, try something fun. That's all we got for you for this week. You can check us out at black-cat-comics.com and check out our especially cool Shopify store. Check out the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. Check out the podcast at soundcloud.com. Just get on down here to the good old brick and mortar in Rock and Milpitas. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.